one of the easier decisions in retirement planning is essentially just kicking the can down the road and saying, I'm going to work a couple more years and then I'm going to retire. But I don't want you to make the easy decisions. I want you to make the decisions that's right for you and your family. So let's go for a walk and talk about it. There's a saying, easy decision, difficult life, difficult decisions, easy life. And I think when it comes to retirement planning, there's a lot to be said for this. So it's just so easy to continue working because it's, by the time you get to the point where you're ready to retire, you have a pretty good skill set. Most of us do. We're good at what we do. We know the people that we work with. But we're also trading in something that we can never replace. It's really the ultimate limited resource, which is our time. There's other ways to make money, but there's no way to replace time. And unfortunately, if you lose your health, there's oftentimes at our age, if you have a stroke, a heart attack, a cancer diagnosis, your life is forever going to be different going forward. There's no way to reverse that, unfortunately. So while the easy decision is to say, I'll just work one more year, I want to caution you. And I think what you want to optimize on, instead of the known, instead of optimizing on the security and the coziness, the warmth that you get from making a decision like that by staying in the known as opposed to jumping into the unknown, I want to encourage you instead to be really thinking about, what's the cost of regret? When I turn 80 or once I lose my health, whichever comes first, what are you going to regret that you didn't do? If you're financially independent in your 50s or 60s and you can retire a few years earlier than you would otherwise, boy, I really want you to think about that. I want you to spend time on that. I know it's a difficult decision, and that's why, it's like that big red button with Staples, right? You hit the big easy button. And maybe when it comes to office supplies, easy is good. But when it comes to optimizing your life, I do not think that easy is good. I think you really want to work with your partner on this and make sure the two of you are in an agreement on how you want to spend your time, when you want to retire, if it makes sense for you to work an extra year, because I think it's super important. One of the things that I've mentioned several times in my channel is if you're 60 years old, unfortunately, if you're lucky, you have about 1,000 weeks left of healthy, active time. And that's really not a lot of time. So you want to make sure that you're thoughtful and deliberate on this. So as with many things in life, the easy decision is often not the best decision. So I want to encourage you to think about it. And so how do you think about it? If you have an opportunity to make a fair amount of money, it's not uncommon when somebody tells their company that they're going to retire, that the company says, you can start working part-time, or, we're going to make some changes, or if you give us an extra 12 months, we're going to give you this nice bonus. So how do you weigh that? How do you make the decision that you're most likely to look back at in a couple years and say, I made the right decision there. And there is no right or wrong, just the one that's best for you and your family. And so I think there's a couple ways that you can do it. Obviously, I'm biased, but if you want somebody that's helped other families navigate situations like this, probably a financial advisor is the best person to talk to that has the experience helping other families make decisions like this. And you want to make sure that person has your best interests in mind. So I would encourage you to look for a fee-only financial advisor for that. Also, there's some books on the topic. I think books are one of the best investments we can make. You think about it, you pay $20 and you get the wisdom that somebody spent a lifetime building up. Oftentimes you can buy somebody's book for $20, or you can sign up for their online course that's going to be $500 or $1,000. So I just encourage you to get some help on framing it properly for your decision making. And one of those things that you can do and see if it's the right match for you is, you want to make sure that you're not giving up something that matters a lot to gain something that doesn't matter a lot. And, only you can decide, what the value of that money is for you and your family and what it can do for you. But, oftentimes, when we're younger, we have a lot of time, but we don't have much money. So the decision to maybe take a job that's not the optimal job. I don't think young people should do that, but they have time on their side. They can trade money for time. But as we get older, we have more and more money, so the extra utility of that money tends to go down and the value of time tends to go up. Now, if you have special circumstances, if you have a child with special needs, and working that extra year, 18 months could provide some extra financial security for that child, that's a high utility item. And again, if you're married, you want to make this decision in concert with your spouse and make sure you're both in agreement on the trade-off, because sometimes things don't work out well. Sometimes you'll say, okay, I'm going to work 2 more years because it'll allow us to provide this for one of our kids or for both of our kids or for a cause you care about. And things go against you and you look back and you say, boy, I wish I had done something differently. But, if we knew the future, of course, we could make the right decision. So, you do the best you can, but you want to make sure that you were thoughtful and deliberate with it. So one of those areas would be, if you have a child with special needs, if you have a cause that you really want to support, if there's some things that you want to do, maybe you want to live in Paris for a year, and there are many places in the world that are less expensive than the United States in living, but unfortunately Paris is not one of those. Beautiful town, you'd probably have a great time, but it tends to be every bit as expensive as New York City, probably even a little bit more so. So it depends on what those trade-offs are and what you're willing to trade for that. And then the other thing is, what is your family history? Like in my case, my family history, unfortunately, the men have heart conditions. I've shared before, I'm vegan. I'm vegan for health reasons. I'm trying to stay as healthy as I can, trying to keep away those heart issues as long as I can. But, in my case, my father had his first stroke when he was younger than me. So, when it comes time for me to retire, trading off an extra year or 2 might not be a good trade-off. But if on both sides you have parents that are, in their late 80s, early 90s and still healthy as horses and not taking any prescriptions, that can be a different situation. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button. It really does help other people find my videos. Hopefully they can find these videos helpful as well. As the kids say, thumbs for like and subs for love. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. Do leave me a comment. I do read all the comments. They mean a lot to me, so thank you for those of you that have left comments, and I do try to reply to as many of them as I can. I typically get to like a couple dozen. I get to reply to a couple dozen a day. If I haven't replied to any of your comments yet, hopefully I will in the future. And until next time, I'm Azul, encouraging you to take full advantage of the youth of your senior years. Remember, we're only young once. Let's use our time wisely.